Hi everybody, this is Tina with Rehatch Designs. Hope everybody is doing well today. We are here for our Stash Busters Sunday, and those are basically just meant to do what they say, use your stash. I have a lot of stuff that I want to start whittling down, and I'm assuming a lot of you do too. I know not everyone does, but if you're given things that maybe you want to use or you don't know how to use, this might help you too. What we're doing, and I think we have been doing for the last few weeks, is to use a lot of our paper stash, our 12 by 12 paper. A lot of people that have gone into junk journaling were scrapbookers, or maybe still scrapbookers, but they have all this paper that they're not using. I have picked through some papers that I had, and we did kind of an abstract thing last week where we did our what do you call it, jelly plate, but we used the back of the papers, which, you know, you still can do, but we're actually going to use the front of these papers now. And I just got out some paper pads that are more or less kind of pink and all those colors, you know, like that, and some of these are really pretty, and I might use some of this, but I won't use all of it for sure, and I'm not using it nearly at the rate that I should. This is a pretty one, but the cool thing, they're lovely papers and everything, but I don't really use that much of this stuff anymore. And this is mainly where I'm pulling from, is this whole big giant thing, and it's got a lot of really abstract design in it. And you know, when we were doing our die cuts, we basically used cardstock paper, but this is more just a paperweight. It really should be a paperweight to do this, because you're going to be making a master board, and you're going to have several layers, so you're really not going to want to have anything too heavy to start with. Okay. Anyway, I usually take a piece, any piece, it doesn't matter, and I just take it, and I've got a 12 by 12 piece, and then what I do, this is a different kind of a way of doing it. I want it to look more like a crazy quilt, so I will take, well actually I'm going to use my tear ruler, I think would work better. Get my long one out, because that is, or just here, let's see here, and I am going to just start tearing some pieces just long strips, and I don't want them all the same, but probably about 3 of each. I'm going to do some smaller. And you don't want them too big, because that doesn't work very well. Okay, I'll save the rest. I mean, you could definitely tear more and use them, but, and I probably won't use that one. I'm trying to think of things that will look good together in my crazy quilt. And it doesn't matter if they're perfect. In fact, it looks better if they're not. So, make a few of these a little bigger so you can actually see the design. And I'm just doing 3 of each, and we may not need that many, but this is just kind of all we do. Okay, that is more than enough, but now what we're going to do, move all these papers out of the way so they won't get in our way. We are going to glue pieces to this, and we're going to also use, where did it go? Where did they go? I thought I brought them in here. Oh, okay. We're going to have some doilies. And we're going to have, I had some other doilies, so I put somewhere. Where did I put them? Oh, there they are. Okay. So I have doilies that I want to use. I have some coffee stained ones and some not coffee stained ones. I have a few pink ones. Now we're not going to use the whole doily. So we're just going to kind of see where we go, because I don't want to commit to any of this yet. So anyway, this is what we're going to do. And we're also where did that go? We have some embossed papers, pieces of them, and I may put some of those in there if I have the right colors. If I don't have the right color, I won't do it. Well, that could maybe work on there. It could maybe work. I'm just taking, whenever I emboss things, I make like extra, and then I just, you know, have it laying around so that I can use pieces of it. But I just don't have a ton. Looks like I need to do some extra embossing. So we shall see how much I use. You know, I might not use that much. I don't know. So anyway, all I do, I mean, y'all have seen this before. We are going to be using a glue stick to put everything down, and I just start taking pieces, and I just tear from here. I don't care if they're perfectly straight. Let me move that up so y'all, I'm trying to make sure you can see the whole thing, and I just try and fill in the spaces, and I don't want them to match perfectly. But if they happen to, that's okay. So, and it doesn't really matter too much if there's like a little bit of spaces in between, or if you're right on the edge, or, you know. The big thing is you want to mix up the patterns as much as possible. And let's see, I could put that one right there. But it's a little different than a master board that you're putting in all the beiges and stuff. But it will turn out good, I promise. It will, it will. I want to get some different sizes in there too. And different colors. You just want to mix it up as much as you can, color-wise. I might get my other tear ruler because it might make it easier than trying to tear it in my hands. And if they overlap a little, that's okay too. It doesn't really matter. You know, perfectly fine. So we could have maybe used a few more patterns, I think, but that's okay. It'll still turn out. It'll turn out just fine. And you can see this one's a little, there's going to be like a little gap here, but that's okay. It'll all get filled in the end. And the big thing is don't make the pieces too big, because you have to remember when you get done with this, you're going to be cutting it all up. And so if that's a tag, you want to have you know, you want to have enough of the other pieces. Okay, so do you see where we have a little gap right there? Because we're using this other paper that will go in there, you won't even see it in the end. And we're going to do stuff to this to where, trust me, you're not going to really see all that much. So I'm going to try and make my pieces a little bit smaller because I think I'm going too big. And that is really the, you know, the only thing that I would say to be careful of is just don't make the pieces too big, because when you cut it all up, you want to be able to, you know, you want to have enough of a, you know, different patterns in there. Oh, we haven't used this yet. Got to use that. I'm looking at the ones that we haven't used over here off on the side. So anyway, this is very relaxing. I'm sure y'all have done stuff like this, and I'm probably not telling you anything new. But everybody has a different take on it, and, you know. And I wanted to show you how I did a pastel one once like this, and it turned out really cool. Because, you know, it's different. I don't know. I think that one might be a little big. I'll just cut it in half. How about that? I want to be able to make sure I see, you know, plenty of stuff in there. Let's see. Oh, I have some over here I haven't used. Haven't used that. Okay, so I did it. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to make sure any of the pieces that are really loose, I'm going to kind of go in and kind of put those down. And I know it doesn't look like much, but it will. And all right. Alrighty. And if I see any really loose, I go back in. The other thing I look for is if I have like too big of pieces anywhere, I'll go in and I'll put like another, piece on top of it or something, just to make it look, a little bit smaller. Okay, this side's got a few little loose pieces here, and we'll go like that. Okay, then after that, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, guys, because really we are going to use matte medium over it. So I'm going to take some matte medium. Let me move all this stuff over out of the way, because it's not going to need, we don't need it anymore. And we're going to take some matte medium, if I can open it. All right, and where's my little brush here? Let's see, I guess I'll use the big one. And I am just going to go over it with that. And that will also help get up any of the loose pieces on there. And a lot of times when I'm not doing it, like to where I need to use it right away, I'll put matte medium on the bottom and then let it dry and glue it on with that. But the glue stick works really good, I think, because the matte medium, when you go over it, it definitely will glue everything down. Like, see all the little ends? Just go back and forth and it'll go over it. And this dries completely clear and kind of matte. It doesn't have a glossy finish or anything. You could use Mod Podge too, or any kind of clear glue. I personally like matte medium, just because it dries quickly. It glues really, really well. It doesn't get overly wet. And even the matte Mod Podge, to me, it kind of has like a shiny finish to it, and it's I don't know, it stays sticky sometimes even after it's dry. So I love matte. This is Liquitex, but there's other brands that you can use too. It's it's more expensive, but I use it mainly for this. So I am going to just go ahead and dry this. So that makes all of the pieces stay down. I mean, it really does. They're not coming up after that. So that is that. And I always put my press and seal on any of my mixed media stuff, because I learned it dries out so quick if you don't. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and dry that, and then I will be right back. Okay, for this next step, we're going to use our matte medium again, and we're going to take pieces of doily. And I like to use different kinds, like where they have different I don't know, the pieces on them in different colors, and coffee dyed and not coffee dyed, etc. There's one that's coffee dyed. And then also that's where these pieces come into play too, embossed pieces. And we're going to just take those, and with our matte medium, I'll tear some pieces up first. And I want random pieces. I don't want them to look, I don't want them to look like they've like they're, cut out or something like that. And it's kind of the same way you do the rest of it. You're just trying to get small pieces in there, because you have to remember we're going to cut this up later, so that's what makes it look good, is just having the randomness in there and the little small pieces. And if the pieces are too big, then it doesn't really have the effect that it's supposed to. But you don't want them all the same size either, so I think those could be smaller. All right, we'll start with that. And then this is some embossing that looks like writing, so I might put a little of that in there. Not too much. Let me move that over. And I kind of just make little piles. And you could put this down when you do all of this, but I like to stick all these pieces on separately. And I don't usually use glue stick for this, but you can, and then go back over it. And I've got a little bit of this yellow. I'm thinking I'm trying to use some of that. Yeah, this would be good too. And this is just stuff that I, randomly put through my embosser just to have little pieces, and I always do that. I just, whenever I'm doing stuff, I grab extra pieces of paper and just to have it around, because I want it to just to use. And these are obviously too big, so and put those in there. Alright, so let's put that over there. And we'll have our little piles of stuff. I won't use that. I don't want to have too much yellow in there. There's probably too much already. I won't use that many of them. So then I just go ahead and probably I'll put the embossed pieces down first. Yeah, I think that piece is probably too big. And I'll just kind of put them in here and there. Doesn't really matter, because a lot of these won't even be on the same piece when you're done. But and you can take some matte medium or glue or whatever and put it on after too, to just, and I just randomly go across and stick them down. It doesn't really matter where you put them, because I do think some of these pieces are a little big, so I want to make them a little bit smaller. And a lot of times what I do is I try and get them in like if there's 4 pieces, like corners and things, I try and get them there, because somehow it adds a little bit of interest. And I put these on crooked. I don't put them, see how the other ones are kind of like in a pattern? And these I just put on kind of crooked. I don't know why, I just think it looks better. That's just my preference. And I don't put a lot of them on, but it does add some texture and interest. Put some of the yellow ones on. So I just will do this, and then, as I said, you won't have them on every piece, but occasionally you'll get one. Now I just start taking the doily and start putting that on, which can be a little trickier sometimes. And I just randomly put it on. You can start with one color and work your way. I just usually just grab things and then just kind of look around. Alright, so basically that's what you do, and then kind of make sure you go over it and make sure everything's down, just like we did before. But be careful with your doilies because they will pop up on you and ball up because they're delicate. So and if you feel like you need more, put more down. If you want less, put less. You don't have to do all of everything I'm doing. These are just things that I do. Okay. And so now I'm going to go ahead and dry this, and again I'll be right back. Okay everybody, so it's dry and this is how it looks. And I know it doesn't look like much now, but we are going to take our gesso and we're going to cover it up now. So I use kind of a thick gesso, so let me get my little brayer that I was going to use, and I'm just going to use a brayer and probably, yeah, I'll use this little thing here. I like to use a combination of both. I do like to get it all over. Sometimes it goes on too thick with this, but you are going to basically, I'm going to put some over here and do it with the brayer first, and then I'll go back in. There we go. So I am just going to go over it with the brayer. I'm not putting it on really thick, but I'm going to take some of that off. Where's my wipes here? A little bit's too much there. Get some of it off here. Yeah, that's better. Better pull my sleeve up. Gesso's hard to get out. You can get it out, but it's hard. Yeah, that's better. That's about how I want it. I just want to get a little more of that off. So we're just basically going to cover it and then wipe some of it off. All right. And this side, let me put a little bit more. It needs more on actually, but there we go. Yeah. All right. So basically, you're going to go over it with gesso, and it mutes everything down. And how much you want it muted down is really up to you. This does dry a lot lighter than what you're seeing right here, so okay. I think that's good. So again, we're going to dry that, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so this is how it looks when we're all done, and it's a very muted look to it, but we're not done yet. This is a mixture of alcohol ink, alcohol, and a little of I think latte alcohol ink, and a little bit of alcohol and a tiny bit of ginger alcohol ink. And I'm going to spray this to kind of give it a little bit more of a I don't know, not grungy, but shabby look. And let me just take, let me see, I'll get another wipe. And I just let it sit there, and what you'll see is it goes in all the little, the places that you did the, I especially like to get those. And I like to let it drip too, different ways, just kind of hold it different ways. And if you have too much somewhere, then puddling, then you just kind of go like that if you don't have enough. But see how it kind of puddles in all of the different doily and all that kind of stuff? That's what's cool about it. And I just kind of go in and sponge up anywhere I have too much, move it around, and that is kind of how I do it. And that's why having the embossed pieces works so well, because it kind of goes in, you can see all the little letters and things in there. So I think it needs more right here. I think I took too much off, is what I did. It dries fairly quickly because it's alcohol, so, and you know, you decide how much you want. I mean, if you don't want a lot, then my goal for this is that the colors are just in the background. I don't want you to see the colors and the pattern. I want it to be very subtle. Okay, this is just a background. You have to, it's not a, okay, that needs more up there. I think I keep taking more off than I should. I'm not letting it sit long enough, you know. Okay, anyway, you get the idea. And then we dry it again, and there's only one more step, I promise. And it's really, you know, none of this is hard. It's just, there's several steps. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and dry this, and then we'll do the last step. Okay, so this is how it looks now. I love it after you put the, vintage, the antiquing on it, I would say. But I do one more thing to this before I get ready to cut it up. And what I do is I crazy sew all over it. I basically take a zigzag stitch and just basically sew it randomly all over. And when you cut it up, it looks really cool. So I'm going to do that to this, and then I'll be right back. Guys, that is the finished product. This is what it looks like. And this is what I call my crazy quilt masterboard. And I think it kind of looks like that when you're done. I mean, you could skip this whole step and not put that on. But when you cut it up into a tag, you're going to only have like these pieces, and it looks really cool as a background. I did it with beige thread so that you could see it. See the thread, you know, like I didn't want it to stand out like a black or colored thread, but I wanted you to be able to see the stitching, and all you do is just kind of stitch all over it, you know. So basically you don't even have like 1 square inch that doesn't have stitching in it. And these make great tags, they make great journal covers. I personally like it as a journal cover. You could do that and then fold it over and have a pocket and then line that inside like that. And that would be a really, really cool cover. And anyway, I've done these before and I love them. I think they're really, I think I made like 2 or 3 of these, and I made a couple of journals out of them a long time ago. So let's see, here is a tag that I made similar to that to give you an idea. And I stitched this again around it, you know, as a tag, but you definitely don't have to do that. So you could also do other things with them and not do that. I mean, you could add stamping or tissue paper and some other things, which I'll do in another one. But this one to me is kind of the look I want, is for it to be very shabby and subtle. And that's it. So anyway, that's what I have for today. And I guess we will see you. I don't know if we're going to do Mass Make Monday or not. It just depends. I'm kind of doing my new schedule now, and I'll probably try and do about 3 process videos a week, but I'm not sure what days I'm going to do it on, so it'll be kind of a surprise. So if you're interested in seeing and knowing, you may want to subscribe and hit the bell so that you are notified when my videos come up. Because I don't always even know when they're going to come up. So anyway, you guys take care, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.